Okay, so today we are going to discuss the Species Diversity Index. This is another quantitative character . Now, what is species diversity? Okay, firstly we will define what is species diversity. As the name says, that means diversity of the number of species in a particular area. That will be called species diversity. But basically it is not only related to the number, but it is related to two components. So it is called a statistical abstraction of two components. One is evenness and another is richness. What is evenness? Evenness means equitability. For example, let's suppose in a particular community you observed total 5 species, okay, and you found that there were 10 plants of this, 11 plants of this, 9 plants of this, 25 plants of this, and 10 plants of this. So now you are observing the number of individuals of each species and how even they are. We can see A, B, C and E. They are evenly distributed because their number is more or less same, whereas D is having almost more than double folds the number of individuals of all other species. So it is not showing evenness. So it means the species diversity that is dependent upon evenness, which is the equitability, means the number of individuals of each species. And second factor is richness. Species richness, which is designated with capital S, that simply equates to number of species in that area. Now that is species diversity, okay, and this concept that was given by Lewin in 1970, and later on it was correlated with index, that is species diversity index. What kind of indices are there in order to study a plant community? So the classification was proposed by Whitaker. He described 3 types of indices. Now these indices, this is a very important question, generally you get in your examination also. We have 3 diversity indices: alpha index, beta index and gamma index. Now look over this diagram. Let's suppose we had 3 communities, community A, B and C. Now you observe number of species in each community. For example, in A, we had 4 symbols are there and each one representing a different species. It means in A, there are 4 species. So this directly correlates to alpha. Means alpha is the species richness of that community. We are talking about a single community at a time. Similarly, for community B, what is the species richness for this? It is 2. So alpha is 2 here. And for community C, the species richness is 3. 3 type of species are found in this area. Now what is beta? Beta corresponds to, see, it is totally different from alpha. So beta corresponds to, you can mention it here, this is actually change encountered. Okay, you have to keep this thing in mind, otherwise you will be confused. The definition is diversity in the range of several communities. Okay, now from definition you will understand, okay, this is the number of species when we compare more than one community. No, this is not that. This is the change encountered, means whatever variation those communities have, you have to add only those numbers. For example, let's suppose we are talking about the beta index of community A versus B. Okay, now you only concentrate on these 2 areas. Plus is common, so we will not count that. We have to see change only, variation only. Triangle is common, so we will not count it as well. So what is left? That is a full square and an empty square. So it means for this it comes out to be 2. If we need to find out beta for A and C, now you see A and C. So this is common, this is also common, this is also common. So among these, what is the change? What is the difference? Only one sign, full triangle. So it means for this the beta value comes out to be 1. So you have to keep this in mind. The definition is confusing. It says diversity in the range of several communities, but actually it is a change encountered when you compare the diversity of different communities. Whatever change is encountered, whatever species is new to that community, that is considered as beta index. Now what is gamma index? It is related to alpha. How? Alpha means one community we are talking about. Gamma means we are talking about number of communities on a huge landscape. Okay? And the significance is same. We will count number of species here as it was in alpha. But now there it was for one community. Here it is for many communities over a large landscape. As you can see here, see gamma is mentioned here. So it means for whole this area, a huge landscape, whatever species richness is there, that will be gamma. So now you can see here the number of type of signs. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's all. So we have total 4 type of species in this area. So its gamma will be 4. Okay, again, once again, alpha means the species richness of that one community only. Beta means change encountered when you move from a one community to another. And gamma means again species richness of large communities over a large landscape. Clear? Okay, now we move on to the next one. See, this is another example. You have 3 communities, site A, B and C. Now you can simply say what is the species richness? That will be alpha. So here you can see 4 type of species. Here it is 3 type of species. Here again 3 type of species. So this is alpha. Now what will be beta? Now beta for A and B. So you are comparing A versus B. You have to say common species. This is a common species, so you won't count it. Okay, and all other species are different, so it means you are not going to count this. So here becomes 3, here becomes 2, so total becomes 5. Now A and C, between A and C. Now see the common species. This is a common species, right? So here 3 and here 2, so it becomes 5. Between B and C, cat is a common species. So 2 new species here and 2 new species here. So it becomes 4. So this is how you calculate beta. Now what is gamma? Gamma will be the species richness of all these communities. So you will observe total type of species in this area. For example, you have 4 here, then plus 2 new species here, that becomes 6, plus 1 new species here, so that becomes 7. Now there is a new term called inventory diversity. What is inventory diversity? Inventories are prepared which take into account or keep a record of number of species in a particular area over time. That is called inventory. Inventory of a particular district, inventory of a particular biosphere reserve, etc. Okay. So obviously that means it is related to the type of species found in that area. And we know that the alpha as well as gamma, these 2 parameters, they are directly dealing with the species richness, whereas beta is only talking about the change. So that's why we are not counting beta here. It is alpha and gamma species biodiversity indices which are called together inventory diversity. Now, how we can measure species diversity? There are 2 methods. First method is by Odum et al. Means Odum and his associates. He is a famous ecologist. There is a very popular book by Odum on plant ecology, and that is considered as a standard reference for whatever concept you want to study related to ecology. In 1960, they said that in order to find out species diversity, the formula used should be, here small d stands for species diversity. It should be number of species encountered per 1,000th individuals in a stand. Means, let's suppose you visited a community. You observe first individual identified its species. Second individual identified its species. Third individual identified species. Okay. so on. Same species may be encountered. Now, till 1000th individual, you recorded the type of species. So that will become species richness, type of species divided by 1000. So that will give you species diversity of that community. Now the second method is by Menhenick in 1964. He modified the formula. He said that it is equal to species richness divided by the square root of total number of individuals in that community. It means now you don't have to see up till 1000th individual. You can simply have density of that area. For example, in a particular area you recorded 5 species, so that will be species richness, and total number of individuals in that area were 250. So you will have square root of this, and from this you can directly observe the value of species diversity. Okay, so these are two methods. You can use any one of them. Now what is the significance of studying this species diversity? What does this number going to help? So if we observe the value of D, obviously you know S will always be less than, very less than the denominator. Whatever is the denominator, always the S will be lesser. So this value will always range less than or equal to 1. Right? Now if we study this, it means that let's suppose for a particular species A, the value of D came out to be 0.15. And for species B, the value of D was 0.3. So what you deduce from this? What is the significance of this value? Significance is greater the diversity, species diversity of a particular area, more stable that community is. It means, I will say now, if the species diversity of community A is less than species diversity of community B, it means this community is more stable. So more is the variability, more is the species richness, more is the stable that community. So that is the significance that you can directly get out of the value of D. Okay, so that's all about the concept of species diversity. That was the last quantitative parameter that we had to discuss in detail. Now we have another few characters that you can yourself understand very well. These are the direct measuring quantities. The first one is height of plants. Now height of plants, you all know, you can measure the height of plants with the help of scale, with the help of measuring tape, with the help of thread, and you can correlate in a particular community what level of different trees or different biota or plants they are existing. Now what it will indicate? The height of plant, this will indicate the vigor of that community, because it is directly correlated. We say more is strong the community is, higher is its height. Then it is also indicator of growth of plants in that community and how suitable that area is for the growth of plants. Because if plants are growing to a lavish height, that means the resources abundantly they are available in that area, or the area is very suitable for those plant species. Then the second comes weight of plants. You all know we can measure the weight of plants. We can directly take the aerial parts of the plant, or we can have complete plants along with the root system. And you can measure the fresh weight or dry weight, though dry weight is considered as a better parameter. Why? Because this is a constant entity, whereas the fresh weight will keep on changing depending upon the weight of water present in the plant parts. So this is a constant entity, that's why this is preferred generally whenever we have to measure the weight. And now what does this indicate? Again, dry weight is the parameter which is best related to the growth of plants. More is a dry weight accumulated, more is the growth of plants. So it is a favorable parameter. Then comes volume of plants. So we have different techniques where we can measure the area occupied by aerial parts of the plant. Okay, and this is again a measure of the growth of plants. And here somehow this is related to the growth as well as what is the suitability of environment for those plants. So more will be the volume occupied. You can yourself correlate. more is the branching or lesser is the branching, less is the cover, in that case we can directly correlate that okay, the resources in this particular area are highly limited, that's why the aerial growth of the plant is restricted. But all the plants, if they are forming dense canopies, if they are growing very well, lot of branching is there, that shows that more is the volume occupied, more benign the environment is for the plants. Then the last in this category, that is total estimate. Total estimate means now we are considering two quantitative parameters at a time, that is abundance and cover. Okay, so on that basis, total 6 classes they have been assigned for total estimate. First is, in a community, if you have very few individuals with very poor cover, it means more of the land is barren. You can easily observe, for example, desert areas. So cover is less than 1%. So that is the first class. Second class is, we have plenty individuals, but the cover is small. Still only 1 to 5% of the land area is covered. Third is, plants are numerous or few. Look, if we are talking about the woody plants, so obviously the number will be less. If we are talking about herbaceous plants, then the number will be more. So they may be few or more, but they have cover 5 to 25% range. Fourth category is if they have 25 to 50% range. Fifth is 50 to 75%, and 75 to 100% is the last category, where we have already designated this. This is the case of the grasslands, because in grassland no land is left without grasses, because they are runners, so that's why whole of the area is covered. So you can approach 100% there. So what is total estimate? Total estimate is a quantitative character, though it is deriving the information from other quantitative characters, but still it is measurable. So that's why this is a quantitative character that combines the abundance and cover. So we take into consideration these two parameters in order to define total estimate. So that's all for the quantitative characters. In the next lecture, we will discuss qualitative characters.